All right, next up, this recording is a continuation. So I'm on Listen Next 877. You can find me at speakingtothecia.com or ChristinaStation918.com. So let me continue on, okay? So, all right. So we last left off talking about the terror attack she committed in Russia at Balzi Rossi restaurant, okay? All right, so next connected to all of this is all this weekend. This is insane. So, next crime she committed that's connected to all of this is a 6-alarm apartment foster fire. Okay, so what she used here is, she's using foster home. Okay, I was in a foster home, which I know you guys already know that, but here's what you don't know, or you probably do, your intelligence. But anyway, I was at my son's and I was watching Annie. And they were singing a song and they changed the lyrics. It went from like living in an orphanage, like the song that's where she's singing about living in an orphanage, they changed it to foster home. And I was like, what the heck? Anyway, so I'm sitting here watching the movie Annie, and then what do these guys do? Gene Roberts and her Manson occult? They start a fire in a town named Foster, and then also Foster's beer, which is Australian beer. Okay, so something else that she did was, and then I find out, watching the news again, that the governor, the mayor of Seattle asked the chief of police to step down. And it has to be regarding what's going on here, but I was dismayed by it. I don't get involved in politics because I know Gene controls everything and everyone. I'm more successful at turning in Gene Roberts and her Manson occult / KKK. I don't want to get involved in politics because she's trying to mastermind and control everyone. Okay, and that's by lying, and that's by using ICE in every other typical way. Okay, so anyway, so I was dismayed by that. I was like, I was thinking, okay, the problem is not law enforcement. I'm talking about present day, present time. I'm talking about in regards to all this terrorism. The problem wouldn't be law enforcement, because law enforcement is intelligence. So who would know more than the politicians that are elected into office? Intelligence, which includes law enforcement. So to me, from my perspective, I'm like, you don't even understand everything that's going on. You're clearly being lied to and manipulated, and you're asking the chief of police to step down? Like, what's going on? Like, this is not right. You shouldn't be doing that. I mean, that's my personal thought. That's what I'm thinking, but that's what I'm thinking, though. Like, this is crazy. Like, this is a time for law enforcement and intelligence to band together, especially do a lot of I'm sorry, just controlling my speech again. A lot of information sharing. Just like Kash Patel was talking about on the news tonight. They had a press conference and they were in Wisconsin. They were talking about sharing news with law enforcement. Or sharing data. So, it's critical. So, I was dismayed by it. But anyway, so get this. So this is what she did here. So in the foster, and I'm not saying her, I'm saying Gene Roberts and her Manson occult. I gotta speak like Shakespeare because of Gene Roberts censoring and Gene Roberts lying. Okay, so Jean Roberts and her Manson cult / KKK. So she pre-planned to oust the police chief because she used Mitch, MITCH, and then that goes to pitch. And then you can see police chief in that. So she used that in the Foster fire. So she pre-planned to oust him. Okay, so the next thing, I'm going to change subjects, but along the same thing, I'm turning in Jean Jernigan Roberts and her Manson cult / KKK. Okay, so the next thing is, people were talking in my brain last night, going over everything, and then somebody poked, it made me laugh so hard, because they were illustrating my anger with Jean Roberts, and they were doing like this whole visual thing, and it was making, intelligence was on there getting a kick out of it. But anyway, somebody like got a needle and like poked and acted like they were me and poked Jean Roberts in the eye with it. And you know, and it gives me a feeling of like satisfaction. I'm like, I'm gonna kill you. You need to be executed. I'm serious. You need to be executed. You need to be arrested and executed. So anyway, it like gives me a feeling of satisfaction that somebody's like stabbing her in the freaking eye with the needle. So anyway, okay, so then people are like talking, and then they're like, oh my God, I bet, they're like, remember that, and they're like, oh my God, I bet she used that too. And this is all serious. People are like, what? And they're like, something, tell a lie, I'm not telling a lie, or hope to not tell a lie. I don't know what the phrase is. Cross my heart, hope to die. That phrase. And I'm like, oh my God, she used that too in her World Trade Center, in planning to crash the World Trade Center, because of the cross and because of the heart. And then look at the end, hope to die. And then people freaked out. And then they said they were registering threats. Okay, that there are threats in that. There are terror threats in that. So they know exactly who and what. So they were like, they instantly said they were going to Washington and log that there are terror threats inside this. So I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, I'm like, let me look this up. I wonder how old this is. This has got to be really old. This phrase, this saying. So I looked this phrase up. The full phrase is roughly 100 to 120 years old, with its individual parts developing at different times. Okay? So 100 to 120 years old. Again, no coincidence, so you can tell she used this. The phrase breakdown, cross my heart and hope to die, the core phrase developed first, while its roots traced back to religious oaths in the mid-1800s. Referencing making the sign of the cross over one's chest, it was officially recorded as a distinct written idiom in 1908, again with the 918, and then you can obviously decode out 1908. And then do all the math. And then the stick a needle in my eye, which this scares me. I'm like, but I've already decoded this. Like, I already know this is true, but it's just weird. It's just seeing more and more evidence of it, but it's there. But like, how old is messing with brainwave activity? Like, how long have people been able to do that? I know that AI was invented in the 1950s, but I know with Edgar Cayce, the early 1900s, there is science messing with brainwave technology, okay, which includes messing with vision, okay? So it's scary, because I'm like, how long has this really been around? Stick a needle in my eye. Okay, because what I'm thinking of is like a pine needle. Okay, but the phrase is talking about a regular needle. So it's scary to think about. Like, it's too much for regular society to consume, but it's astounding because you can see it's everywhere. So anyway, Okay, so this rhyming escalation was added by children as a schoolyard oath in the subsequent decades. Etymologists from Merriam-Webster date the earliest recorded citations of this specific needle extension to the 1920s. And my address in North Chicago, when scratching was all the rage, 1920 Lexington Avenue, North Chicago, Illinois. And then, in the early 70s, when I was begging my babysitter to play the Bee Gees, and she broke the needle, and I was upset, and I was like, play the Bee Gees, play the Bee Gees. And then there was so much frantic around trying to play the Bee Gees that the needle was broke, and then my stepdad came home, and all holy hell broke out. Okay, so anyway, it's like a funny memory looking back, but it's like, it's not funny because, not the memory is funny, but it's not funny because it's connected to everything. And then to find out all more what the needle is connected to. So anyway, Gene Roberts stalking. So also in this is Osama and Navajo. Okay, so then I want to change subjects again. I want you to figure out what I'm saying there. Okay, and then so changing subjects again. You want to know something else she did? Okay, remember when I told you she arranged all my relationships? Okay, so she was being punny with my second husband. She just thought this was hilarious. So she's referring to him. They're related to the Kennedys. Okay, on my dad's side is related to Marilyn Monroe. Okay, so she thought it was funny because she's putting Kennedy with Marilyn. Okay, but instead of it being a Kennedy and a Marilyn that people know on TV, we're just two regular people, and I'm the one that she's gonna rip the heck out of, and then she's gonna go run and sell and then claim all of her people are Marilyn Monroe instead, and bad Christine, I'm gonna make up a lie about you and you're bad and everybody else is Marilyn Monroe, so take that. And I mean, that's what I go through every day. It's such stupidity and BS. It's insane. I literally decoded her taking Marilyn Monroe's life. So I don't know who she thinks she is. And she controlled our relationships. I mean, what are you doing for Marilyn Monroe or the Kennedys in that? You're sick, Gene. Here's something else she did. Christie Brinkley. Christie Brinkley is an older model from the 80s. She was in her in 20s or 30s, late 20s, in the 80s. Okay, Christie Brinkley. Okay, so my second husband's family name, one of their family names is Brinkman. Remember, see all code Brinkman. Remember what I told you about her stalking the Brinkmans also? And where their family works at, and how she stalked and controlled all of them, and she stalked and controlled us, and she's just having a heyday, just marrying everyone up and just stalking the heck out of everyone and controlling everyone, thinks she's getting away with all of this, and she's not. So me being I'm Christina, and then referring to my ex-husband's side as Brinkman. Okay, and then you're going to want to break down Christie Brinkley even more. Okay, so you're going to want to go through terror attacks that Gene has committed, and you're going to want to go through songs and music videos that Christie Brinkley is notable for, and you can see what else Gene did there. Keep going all the way back, don't stop. Wait a minute. Nope, you gotta go all the way back to the 80s. Okay, I was thinking 90s and the 80s, no, you gotta go all the way back to the 80s for both videos. So that tells you the level of lying, assault, abuse, and stalking, and the terrorism that she committed and all this crap, all these lies and all this stalking as some sort of twisted around excuse for her committing terror attacks, and then stepping out onto the scene and acting like she's just going to continue to do what she's been doing for 60 years. And that's claiming that she owns certain family lines. Again, Gene Roberts needs to be executed.